You become genuinely resilient and unshakable when you start understanding how human behavior truly functions beneath the surface. Many people believe they're defeated by outside forces, but in truth, they collapse because they fail to see reality as it is and instead build false expectations around how life should reward them. Let's explore a perspective that combines strategic thinking with psychological insight, helping you develop the clarity required to walk through complexity with balance and intention. Now imagine this for a moment. A thoughtful professional, known for their diligence and cooperation, suddenly receives the news of termination. They leave the office quietly, heart pounding, confusion rising, and later that evening, they call home saying softly, "I truly don't understand what went wrong. I did everything they asked of me." This is a heartbreaking but common experience, and it carries a lesson most people miss. They became too predictable, too transparent, too easy to understand. When others can fully anticipate your actions, they stop respecting your position and begin assuming they can replace you without consequence. Predictability reduces power because mystery and adaptability are the essence of influence. In human systems, if you stop evolving, the world stops noticing you. So, as we begin, let me make you a promise. By the end of this framework, you'll understand how to turn confusion into insight and hesitation into momentum. You'll see why a few people rise consistently while others remain perpetually waiting. And you'll walk away with 8 timeless principles that blend strategy, psychology, and disciplined self-leadership. Pause for a moment, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, my direction belongs to me, and my choices shape my destiny. Let's start with a truth most people avoid acknowledging. From a young age, many of us are taught that being polite, compliant, and endlessly accommodating is the guaranteed path to success. We're told to stay humble, work quietly, and wait patiently for recognition, as if fairness operates like gravity, always pulling reward toward effort. But reality doesn't operate on moral formulas. It operates through power, perception, and timing. Look around for a moment and consider the people who always say yes, who never challenge authority, who avoid confrontation at every cost. Are they flourishing, or are they quietly stuck in the same position, hoping that someone will one day acknowledge their invisible sacrifices? Machiavelli understood what many polite people don't. Life does not automatically reward virtue. It rewards awareness, timing, and the courage to act strategically when others hesitate. If everyone can read your reactions, they can easily use them to shape your outcomes. When you surrender your decisions to the expectations of others, you unknowingly give away your influence and delay your own growth. So remember this fundamental rule. Expecting fairness without asserting strategy leads only to quiet disappointment. The sooner you accept that recognition is not owed, the faster you reclaim responsibility for creating your own momentum. Say it clearly. I will act intentionally, not helplessly, in every situation. Before we move forward, let's explore the first principle that reshapes how you view people and relationships. 1. Learn to see human nature as it truly is. Now let's shift focus and look at the psychology behind misunderstanding people. Most frustration doesn't come from others' actions. It comes from our projections, from assuming others think, feel, and value life exactly as we do. When you impose your inner code upon others, you invite disappointment because they're not wrong, they're simply different. Every person operates from a unique mix of needs, fears, and motivations. Even kindness, generosity, or support often stems from personal incentives, whether validation, harmony, or self-respect. Recognizing this truth isn't cynicism, it's emotional intelligence. In challenging moments, most individuals default to self-preservation. That's not betrayal, it's an ancient survival mechanism built into human nature. Once you truly grasp this, you stop personalizing behavior and start analyzing it instead. Watch what people do more than what they say. Study recurring patterns more closely than apologies. And above all, understand that trust is not a switch. It's a dial meant to be adjusted with awareness. Balanced perception leads to balanced relationships. Say this as a reminder. I observe reality without distortion or projection. Now that you understand how people operate, let's move inward and address how you handle pressure. 2. Practice emotional stability under pressure. Let's move to something more internal yet equally vital, your emotional posture. People often lose credibility, not because they make mistakes, but because they react impulsively to pressure, criticism, or discomfort. The inability to manage reaction is one of the fastest ways to signal weakness. Consider this. When anger rises at feedback, it reveals insecurity. When you rush to justify yourself, it reflects a hunger for approval. When panic overtakes you, it communicates fragility. In each case, the emotion overshadows the message and influence is lost. True strength is revealed not in domination, but in discipline. When challenged, breathe and observe before responding. When misunderstood, remain composed and clarify later. When criticized, learn without surrendering your sense of worth. Stability doesn't mean suppression. It means strategic expression. You choose which emotion serves the moment rather than letting emotion dictate your behavior. Patience when it strengthens authority. Warmth when it nurtures alliance. Firmness when it demands respect. Every calm response plants a seed of authority. Repeat silently. I respond with intention, not impulse. Now let's balance this inner strength with how we interact with others in everyday life. 3. Combine empathy with boundaries. Next, let's examine the balance between kindness and strength. When you become excessively available, others unconsciously start valuing your presence less. Yet if you build walls too high, you cut off collaboration and connection. The art lies in merging approachability with assertiveness. Respect grows from consistency, clarity, and fairness, not endless sacrifice. Your boundaries are not barriers. They are guiding lines that protect purpose. Here are a few practices. Decline requests that pull you away from your priorities. Step back from spaces that no longer align with your goals. Stop extending energy toward those who chronically take without contribution. Adjust relationships that consistently diminish your peace. Remember, a balanced boundary system doesn't create isolation. It creates mutual respect. Speak this truth into existence. My empathy has edges, and my time has value. Now let's turn challenges into teachers and see what obstacles are really showing you. 4. Transform disappointment into discernment. Now let's talk about setbacks. Every failure, every betrayal, every lost opportunity carries within it a form of information that success often hides. When someone shows disloyalty, they reveal their priorities. When a plan collapses, it exposes what was unsustainable. Instead of drowning in emotion, treat each experience as data. Observe without judgment and update your approach with precision. Remember, people show their truest selves when they believe they no longer need to impress you. Let that awareness refine, not harden, your perspective. This isn't paranoia, it's preparation. Mature insight transforms pain into pattern recognition. Say it thoughtfully. Every challenge teaches me how to move wiser next time. You've learned to read situations clearly. Now let's learn to act without attachment. 5. Cultivate detachment without losing passion. Let's take a psychological breath. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely. You pursue goals because they matter, not because your identity depends on them. You love deeply, but without surrendering your autonomy. When need dissolves, attraction increases. When desperation fades, respect begins. True independence radiates confidence, and confidence quietly draws opportunity closer. Develop distance in 3 key ways. Maintain multiple paths, so no single failure breaks your rhythm. Build inner validation through competence, reflection, and solitude. Walk away quickly from environments that deplete your worth. Detachment gives you space to act clearly rather than emotionally. Remind yourself, I engage with purpose, not dependency. With emotional balance in place, let's strengthen your influence through silence and subtlety. Chapter 6. Let silence strengthen your presence. Now consider this psychological truth. Mystery multiplies influence. When every intention is spoken aloud, you become predictable, and predictability dissolves intrigue. Strategic silence invites curiosity and amplifies authority. You don't need to explain every plan or justify every choice. Those who move quietly often achieve more because they protect their focus. Silence isn't emptiness, it's composure. Speak less, observe more. Share less, deliver more. Let others wonder while you build. Each word you hold carries weight for the next one you speak. State with confidence. My silence communicates strength and certainty. Now let's bring movement into your mindset and turn insight into decisive progress. 7. Create progress through proactive action. Let's pivot to movement. Opportunities rarely present themselves to those who wait passively. They emerge for those who create momentum through action. Perfection is a myth. Clarity comes through movement, not endless planning. Start with small, meaningful steps. Measure the terrain, then commit. Reflect, adjust, and continue. Each deliberate action exposes new insights. Each decision sharpens your instincts. Remember, hesitation drains confidence. Motion builds courage. You don't wait for the path. You carve it. Affirm this truth. My initiative shapes the opportunities I encounter. Finally, let's anchor everything you've learned into a foundation that never shakes. 8. Build character that outlasts circumstance. Finally, let's return inward to the foundation. Your character is the architecture of your life. It determines how you respond when no one's watching, how you endure when things collapse, and how you rise when no one believes. Guard your integrity with intention. Honor your commitments. Recognize both strengths and limits with honesty. Depend first on inner discipline before seeking external assurance. A stable core makes you unshakable in unstable conditions. And when your sense of worth no longer relies on approval, you become a force that circumstances cannot easily bend. Declare firmly, my foundation is steady and my direction is unwavering. You now hold a guide, not of rigid rules, but of psychological principles designed to awaken clarity, strength, and deliberate action. Nothing external can truly obstruct you once you begin leading yourself from within. The question that remains isn't whether you can, it's whether you will. Take this moment seriously. Choose action over delay. Your evolution doesn't start tomorrow. It begins the instant you decide to move.